ऊपर वाले ने हम सब के हाथों में लकीरें लिखी हैं, लेकिन कुछ लोग होते हैं जो उन लकीरों से अपनी कहानी खुद लिखते हैं और ऐसी कहानी लिखते हैं जो दूसरों की जिंदगी को भी इंस्पायर करती हैं, अफेक्ट करती हैं. सो ऑब्वियसली उनकी कहानी, द स्टोरी इज समथिंग वेटिंग टू बी told. And I have the privilege and honor on Punjab Kesari Navodaya Times to welcome one such person जिनकी जिंदगी ने, जिनके काम ने बहुत सारे लोगों को पॉजिटिवली इन्फ्लुएंस किया है. अपर्णा रजावत, जो कि 16 टाइम्स इंटरनेशनल मेडलिस्ट हैं फॉर मार्शल आर्ट्स, जो कि गिनीज वर्ल्ड रिकॉर्ड होल्डर हैं फॉर द लॉन्गेस्ट सेशन इन सेल्फ डिफेंस, एंड ऑफ कोर्स जिनके ऊपर एक डॉक्यूमेंट्री फीचर फिल्म पिंक बेल्ट मिशन बनाई है हॉलीवुड डायरेक्टर जॉन मैकराइट ने. सो जॉइनिंग मी टुडे ऑन पंजाब केसरी एंड नवोदय टाइम्स इज अपर्णा रजावत herself and John McWright. So a warm welcome to both of you.
Thank you so much.
So John, first things first, how and when did you meet Aparna and what inspired you to make a documentary feature film on her?
Well, I met Aparna when I was on vacation, and she was my private tour guide of India, and we were in Delhi, Agra, Varanasi, Jaipur, which is where the film festival was that the film was in. And while we were traveling, she would tell her stories. Like, she would talk about India, but then she would tell family stories. And at one point when we were arriving in Delhi, I had my blinds shut, like the curtains on a small bus. And she said, there's a law, you have to have the curtains open in Delhi. And I asked her why, and she told me about the Nirbhaya case. And I had heard of it, but I didn't know the details. And then she told me the details about it. And then she told me about her Pink Belt mission, her group that, she teaches self-defense. And I thought it was really interesting. And she's when you're on tour with her and she tells her stories, she's fascinating. Like, you just want to spend the whole day. I don't know, like, seeing Taj Mahal was wonderful, but then just talking to her, and hearing her life story was just as interesting, So I knew the way she told stories, I knew that there needed to be something. I didn't know what while we were in India for sure, but I knew that there was a story here. I write, I direct, I do narrative film, and this was my first documentary.
Yeah.
And I knew it was something. And so that's how we met, though, was on tour.
Great. And Aparna, there are three kinds of people. तीन तरह के लोग होते हैं. एक जो कहानियां पढ़ते हैं, सुनते हैं, एक जॉन की तरह who make those stories, and the third kind is people जिनके ऊपर वो कहानियां लिखी जाती हैं. People who are on stories who are written on them. So how does it feel to be this third kind of person जिनके ऊपर कहानियां लिखी जा रही हैं?
It feels really great. I never imagined or dreamed that someone is going to make a movie about story. And I think me and John were destined to meet. And really, that was the best thing in the life, that he came on the vacation and he was with me. And actually, the sensitivity he has. He found my stories very fascinating because obviously some of the experience we both gone through in our life. And I saw him while making that movie, that he cried so many times. So being a man, having this sensitivity, having this empathy, which was amazing. And it is not about the film was being made about my life. The best thing above all is that John made this movie because he could connect himself and he justify what stories of Indian women are. So we were in the best hand. That is the best part of the movie.
Great. John, talking about the premiere which recently happened, so how happy are you with the response? Was it something that you expected, considering it got bagged records, awards as well?
Well, first of all, I was so happy. The film won Best World Premiere Documentary, and I won Best Debutante and that debut director, and that made me I was so happy. I was giddy that whole day. But I think the thing that touched me the most, so I'm friends with people from Pink Belt, and they, on Facebook, and they'll text me. And someone told me that after seeing the film, several people joined Pink Belt Mission.
Oh, wow.
And that, to me, that was what it was all about in the first place, was to get Aparna's message out. And the fact that it moved someone so much to join the organization, that was my true award to me.
Wow, wow.
But I did like the other one.
Great. And we just truly hope that you continue making such great cinema, and continue telling such intriguing and true stories, of course, and getting awards also for them. Now, Aparna, talking about Pink Belt Mission, today you hold a Guinness record. Today you are a motivational speaker. Today you're somebody who is inspiring a lot of women. But शुरुआत कहाँ से हुई? अपर्णा को किसने और कब इंस्पायर किया to do all this?
Actually, when I was, I belong to Rajput family, very traditional family actually, and 5 siblings beside me, 2 brothers, those both were elders, and they're kind of bully actually. And so my 3 sisters were like a sheep in the family. They were just walking in the line which was drawn for them to be on. But I was a black sheep in the family who always challenged, who always asked questions, who could not understand difference between boys and girls. And my family, they both were raised very differently. Boys had different rules, different regulations. Girls had very different, so many things we were prohibited to do in the family, but boys had all the liberty. So me asking questions all the time were making me even a bad girl in the family. Very opinionated, always presenting, and that the ideal girls used to be in Rajput family who can be just a quiet and silent. They are the best girls. So obviously in every way I was different. I was considered as rebel. So when I said that they were bullies, so they were bullied in a movie also. I talked a bit, and John wanted me to speak more, but at that time I was not really, because so many things I could not even speak to myself for years. So that was the first time I could talk a bit. And so anyways, that's the bulliness sometimes led us even some more physical violence and all. So my defense mechanism since my childhood that I should be physically very strong to deal with both of them. If I want to survive and save myself, I should know how to kick their ass too. So there was a martial art classes in my neighborhood, and whenever I look at them, and that was the way. It was not I wanted to learn a sport. I wanted to learn it to save myself from my brothers. Yeah. So but in my family there was no way that girls could learn this kind of thing. It was not allowed. It's a taboo. So anyway, that's a long story. I'll not involved in that one. My mom fought, and eventually I could end up in this. But when I started learning, I could deal a bit. But when I was in school, primary school, there were the same things, the boys and girls. And at that time, they were like park where the rights are, and boys were getting the best rights, and they were not letting these girls go. So I was going to that ride. I was fighting with these boys, and I was fighting for my friends too. So I always got frustrated. Why I need to fight for them? They should fight for themselves. I'm always backing them up, but they should stand too. So that always seeded in my mind that the girls should be strengthened enough to stand for themselves. Why they learn to be quiet, why they choose to be quiet. I think that was all the trigger points that I had since my childhood. And I think I was born with that. And in a life also gradually I experienced all of this. So anyways, that was the thing. I started teaching so many girls when I was only 12, 13 years old. I chosen to teach self-defense to all the girls so they could get the best rights in children parks. Right, they could go go with boys. So that is childhood story. But when due to my accident, I could not continue my martial art career. But the thing was always in my head whenever I saw in India, and when I started traveling abroad. then I could compare condition of women in England or in India.
Yeah.
That was more eye-opening for me, and I realized at that time that I was not a black sheep, I was not a rebel. Because I was labeled the bad girl in my family, in my among my relatives and all. But that was when I went to England, and I got to know that I was not the bad girl. It was very justifying. It was the fair questions I was asking. So it's always there. But Nirbhaya Kand, when that happened, that shaken everybody from inside out. And that was the time, that was the main trigger point. I realized what I'm doing with my life. I could speak well because I was working as a tour manager. I was a martial art player, so I could teach self-defense, which I did all my school and college and all time. And I think Nirbhaya wouldn't have happened. My life would not have changed. I may be ending up working in England or being ambitious woman, career-wise. But that was the time which really made me realize, and it took 2-3 years to made me decide to come to India. And I left my job in London, what I was working as an international tour director. And I think that was a trigger point for me to come back to India and just devote my life to do something for my sisterhood, for my women.
Great. John, you know what Aparna has just said is something which is very common to us as Indians. We've observed this close hand, and of course, sometimes we do something about it. Sometimes people turn a blind eye to it. So it's something that we as Indians are used to it. Now, talking about you, how was this whole experience for you, considering that, you actually made a documentary out of it? So obviously, you must have spoken to the girls firsthand. You must have heard, their stories. So how was that experience, and how challenging was it to make a documentary, considering most of them did not speak or understand English?
It was hard because there would have to be somebody on set that spoke English, and then I would ask the question, and then they would translate it, and then they would answer, and then I'd have to, they would kind of whisper to me, this is what was said, and then I would try to figure out what the next follow-up question. But I think that part was hard. The hardest part, though, was the stories themselves.
Yeah.
Aparna went to Shiro's Cafe, which is an acid attack survivor community.
Yeah.
And those interviews really touched me deeply. And to see the scars of inhumanity of one person to another, and to hear those stories, to me, that was the most challenging part. But it was also the thing that kept driving Aparna to do the work she's doing, and it kept driving me to do the work I was doing. There was actually one point where Aparna, one of the things that her and I connected with is both of our mothers died too. And throughout the movie, she talks about her mother. And every time she said, I cried on set a lot. That was why, because every time she would talk about her mother, I would think about my own mother. And my mother actually was a survivor of violence. One of my stepfathers was violent with my mother. And so I think that, and I was a child and saw that, and I think that's why I connected with what Aparna was doing, because it was healing on so many levels. Yeah. It was healing with the loss of our mothers. It was healing with somebody teaching people to fight back, or to, and it's not necessarily even fighting, it's how to escape the situation, yeah. When it's self-defense. It's not to stand there and beat a man up. It's to protect yourself and find moves to get out of the situation and to try to get to safety, which I think is important. But I found the process in hearing Aparna's story was actually very healing for me, and my past. So we really, on so many levels, my editor said, you're kind of because you get to know your editor when you're sitting, editing the film together. And he said, you're kind of making your story too. You guys are so similar, because, I would tell him, oh, well, my mother died, and her, and so it was quite healing, I thought.
Yeah, and I think that reflects in the way the documentary has been made, and obviously I think more and more people will relate to it, people who've had similar kind of stories at some point in life. Aparna, talking about the Guinness World Record that you made, Tell me, please, how that idea came to your mind, and also, John. Next question will be to you. I guess you filmed that in the documentary. That is there in the documentary. So, how was it as recording it, that experience? But first, Aparna, ये idea कैसे आया कि आपको ये बनाना है, करना है record?
Ma'am, the best thing, so many times it is surprising for me. This is out of the question which you are asking. There's so many things I had in my life which really manifested. So sometimes the dream really come into reality. That John, you didn't know that poster you made it of the movie, which like I'm just having open arms. When I was in England 7-8 years ago, I wanted to write a book about my story. Okay. And I had a meditation. And really in a meditation, Mansi knows, everybody knows around me that in a meditation, I saw, like I was thinking what should be cover page, what should be cover story, and why can't I fly? I told you that, right? So I saw in a meditation, I'm standing at the Lake District up North England part, and I'm standing exactly the way you chosen to make a poster of the movie, in front of lake, and someone took a picture from behind me, and that's how was the title, Why Can't I Fly? Wow. Right? So this is, Nidhi, it is not part of your question, but John, I wanted him to know when I saw post a few days ago. Same thing, that Guinness World Record, that idea came into my head because when I started working as a founder of Pink Belt, started teaching women, what was the attitude I found in most of the families, and when I was connecting with them, when they were coming for a training, that's the attitude we have is like, who cares? If my daughter is safe, I don't care what is happening with neighborhood daughter. And that was part of my teaching. Whenever I was going for these speeches, I was telling that if you close eyes for neighborhood daughter, tomorrow someone will close eyes for your daughter too. So that who cares, kind of like my family saved, whatever happened, I don't give them about it. So that was actually the first thought in my head, that I should start creating sisterhood. I should start that putting that seed into their mind to stand for each other. And who cares attitude should be completely abolished and removed from their head. So I should पहले एक साथ खड़े होना तो सीख लें, लड़ेंगे तो बाद में. We should learn to stand together first, then fight later. So that was actually a thought कि कैसे, how I can have that massive mass of women to be there for each other. So that came, and I thought this is the initial thought, and then obviously self-defense. It was creating an impact. That is in 40 minutes, to be honest, I cannot teach them whole self-defense. But that is what call we Nari Shakti, woman power, creating that impact and giving that inspiration in India among all women, that now this is a time to stand together. That was actually what John said, that so many people are joining organization after watching a movie. That is the biggest award for me. That was the biggest award, that 12,500 women in Agra kind of city, where you cannot have 200 women out of their home, especially in Agra. 12,500 women came together for each other, and that was the scene on that day. The way they were standing with each other, they were having that tigress roar. That was the reward for me. That was the biggest reward for me and for the film, for John too. So it started from there. And self-defense, obviously, that is a time we need to be gear up for whatever happening, all women. I'm not saying that, because I always say in my speeches too, that women's safety or women protection or women crime, this is not a gender problem. That is a social problem. Why it is seen always women empowerment as men against women. It is not men against women. Whenever it comes to anything upliftment of women in India, most of time it is seen, it is as against men, or it's a man versus woman. So if anything happened to the daughter, it is not that victim is suffering, mother is suffering, father suffers same. Even he suffer more, because he is the one who faced the society, who goes and fight for. So how come it is a gender problem? It is a social problem which we both should stand together. Men and women, doesn't matter what is your gender. So that was the thought, and it was in my head from last 2-3 years since I started Pink Belt. And even 1 year ago of the movie, I made all this flyer, and I have all this prepared everything. But obviously, having that many women, stadium and everything, it needed so much manpower, logistics, resources, and I didn't have that. So I was just when John was taking my interview in LA. That is that he was making a trailer of the documentary of movie, and just out of I just at that time uttered, John, I wanted to do that always. Maybe after movie, I'm gonna do that world record, because that after movie, I will have more people and I will be able. John said, why later? Make it. That is a brilliant idea. He supported me like immediately in half an hour. World record was made in my head, in his head.
Wow.
Too. Yeah. So he said, no way, not after movie. That should be part of the movie. That is the way you need to show a victory. That all the suffering, but if the women stand together, what they can achieve together.
Yeah.
So that would be the best part. So that's how that it came into light, actually, into reality.
Brilliant. And to record it without a cut, John, what kind of an experience was that for you?
Whoa, it was difficult. Logistically, it was hard, because normally on a film shoot, like if we were here in the States, we would have walkie-talkies. But because we were coming into the country, we weren't allowed to bring them in. There's a law, because, you know, it's a way of communicating and it could be used for bad purposes. And so basically we had to set up, we had 5 cameras, and we had someone here, someone up in this big tower, someone on the field, someone on the side, and then someone going around just with a Movicam that just kind of moved. And that 30 minutes, of that, when it was happening, because it took place in 30 minutes. You had, once the timer started, she had 30 minutes to break the record. And God was guiding everybody, because we weren't able to talk to each other. And you can't even tell that there was no communication between any of us. I was walking, I was nervous. I was like an expectant father, waiting for the baby to be born. And I'll tell you this, when I watch the film to this day, I still don't know if she's going to break the record or not, because there are so many things that went wrong. And every time I would be like, oh no, how's she going to get out of this one? It's like watching, a sporting event where your team, they fumble the ball and then pick it up again, and then they're behind and then they're ahead. And by the end of it, when the man announced from Guinness World Record, when he announced, I had no idea if she got it or not. Oh. I was on pins and needles the whole time. So I will just say this, from the filming point of view, from watching it as a spectator, I was a nervous wreck the whole time.
Yeah, we can understand that. But then all turned out good at the end, as you yourself said. Now, coming to my last question here, both of you have inspired in some way or the other. Of course, Aparna, you being the reason behind this documentary, and John, you by making this documentary. So last question here is that, the problem still prevails. India still is talking about women emancipation, even though we are in 2021. Aparna, you as being the founder of Pink Belt Mission, आपको क्या लगता है? What is the kind of help that you would want? क्योंकि सिर्फ बात self defense की नहीं, it's also about जिस तरह की हमारी thought process है as a woman कि अगर कुछ हो गया मेरे साथ, so क्या होगा? What will the society say? I will be blamed, etc., etc., etc. So ये पूरा baggage जो है, इसको फ्री कैसे कर सकते हैं? What is your thought on that? And also ज्यादा से ज्यादा लोग इसके साथ जुड़े आपके मिशन के साथ. So what is the kind of help that you would be looking out at?
Ma'am, that's first thing, that Pink Belt Mission is not only teaching a self-defense. Actually, it is an all-round safety project which I came up with all my life experience. So self-defense is a small part. We work on 5 dimensions, which is mental strength, emotional strength, legal strength, digital strength, and then physical strength. So self-defense is a part of physical strength only. Otherwise, that five dimension, because in India, the life of women is surrounded by all these 5 things. Mentally strong, because in India, women are raised only for 2 roles, either daughter or daughter-in-law. They are, since their childhood, they have been told that how to be a good daughter, and after that, how to be a good daughter-in-law.
Yeah.
So mental strength is very much needed. That woman has so much potential than only these two roles. And I try to tell them they are born with wings. If they're being told since their childhood that you cannot fly, doesn't mean you cannot fly. You're born with
it. Ask the question, why can't I fly?
Yeah, why can't I fly? So it is that pink belt is that. And secondly, how the baggage can be removed. I think it should be started from their own family. Most of the families, the way that boy and girls are raised. So since the childhood, if they are being told that first of all, no validation, and secondary citizen, and they are being told they're weak, they're fragile since their childhood, it is actually, they are mentally conditioned all their life that they are not equal to their gender counterparts. So I think that first thing, it started from their own family. Then things can be changed. And the bigger thing I will mention here, government is doing so much for women's safety, women empowerment. We will be really fortunate if that will work on ground reality rather than on files and papers. Sure. Because that what is going on in India nowadays, if even 25% will really work, then India will have a different face.
Very well said.
I'll talk about UP. I'm sitting at Agra, and that our Honorable Chief Minister has started Mission Shakti. So much going on by the name of Mission Shakti, but everything was going on the files. I'm witness of it. So nationwide, if the government, I'm not saying government is doing anything wrong. They just started, but those are the people responsible for execution and just perform. If they will do the right job, then it will be totally different. So that is, I'll end my sentence with that all the traditions and all this parampara, runiya, that is why that is on the shoulder of women only. By the name of protecting her, if ye karoge to izzat kharab ho jayegi, ye karoge to family ki wo. So why that everything, all the honor and reputation of the family, you put on the shoulder of only women?
Yeah.
Men should take a part, men should also share that equally. If these things, that family, the way they are raised, that will be changed, and all this not on the shoulder of only women, and government, whatever start, if that will 50% of that work on ground reality, then I think our nation will go for the betterment.
True. And John, coming to you on my last question, India is a land of untold stories, as I said in my opening statement. Are there more untold stories that, you're probably thinking, or probably they can inspire you to make more documentaries here? So, or probably if you can throw some light on your next projects.
Yes, I definitely have more ideas, especially with the women that were in the film, the acid attack survivors. I feel like there's a whole movie about them. The women that work in the factory, we interviewed factory women. I think there's a whole, documentary about them. And I think it all springs from Aparna's work. And I would love to work with Aparna again, and kind of like her sort of being the host again, and walking us into these women's lives. And she just did this wonderful thing just a few weeks ago where she went into small villages and gave makeovers to women. And I was just watching her footage just on, somebody took it on a cell phone, and I was fascinated. And I really, and I want to continue working with her. And the other thing, I have an idea. She said at the last part of the movie that she wanted to create a women's center where women could all come together and find a lawyer, find a doctor, find support, like a support group. If something has happened to them, they would have a psychiatrist. So I was really fascinated by that. And I personally would love to help do that, because I think community is how we heal, and community is how we find strength. They say one reed is weak, but you put all the reeds together and they're unbreakable. And I think that's what Aparna does.
Yeah, my God, I've had such a lovely time talking to both of you.
Thank
because,
you.
This was one interview which was not about just the movie, but also to get an insight on how you think as human beings. And trust me on this, I'm so truly inspired by the both of you, and from the bottom of my heart, I wish you so much good luck for whatever you both have on your mind. And I really want to thank you for talking to us.
Thank you,
Thank
ma'am.
you.
Thank you so much. We're honored. Thank you.